So, the message that I'm getting for the beautiful collective of innately loving, innately joyous light beings is that basically things are balancing out. Things are balancing out because of how you weigh. WEIGH. How you weigh Ma'at energy. The light, interesting. The heart against the feather. When I said light, I was thinking about the feather. The feather being light, right? The weight. Your light body, your energy, how you shine authentically, your heart space and being at heart consciousness. There's a balance that has been happening for a while. It could have been all your life where you've just been figuring out who you are through trials and tribulations, through moments of temporary happiness and fear throughout your life, and how you've pushed through and focused on striving and succeeding. There's like an energy of hunger, wanting more. From the depths of who you are, not just whether you are materially abundant or you are abundant in joy and energy, and or whatever your abundance is or has been. There's still kind of been like this hunger, and you've just been moving through your life, through your choices and decisions. You've been balancing things out, and now you are finally at the culmination point of achieving that balance to the extent to where now you're vibrating at a different frequency, to where what you used to have to balance no longer needs to be balanced. It's able to be maintained, and you're walking into a new space where what you used to have to balance is now balanced for you. That you've mastered that frequency and vibration. Your soul is now understanding how it fits into your body in a way. Your soul is feeling more at home and is seeing life from a more loving place. It's also recognizing that everyone has had a role to play in your success. So in ways you're turning negatives into positives. And that helps you to move forward in heart consciousness when you're able to really accept that. Obviously, now you're more wise and you're able to use logic with wisdom. The soul, the essence of you, is now ready to expand and to do things that it's never done before. So now we're moving into new territory. Everything is based off of frequency and vibration. And your presence in the world is very important. This is really a collective victory. Through the lives and experiences of your ancestors that have challenged you inside yourself, that have emanated your reality for a long time. The highs and the lows. In your sleeping and awakened states. And now things are going to be drawn to you. That reflect that. I feel that there's going to be opportunities of using your gifts to support people and breaking those chains around them that have allowed them, that have, I don't know if allowed them is the word, I feel like I'm kind of seeing like a execute button, like a programming, you know, like when they press enter and then it's like it computes and it's commands. It's a command. It has commanded people for a long time to do the things that continue to limit them versus accept who they truly are, or even just be able to see who they truly are. To accept their joyous self. Who you are is going to show for all eyes to see. And you are going to inspire many. And it's going to nourish you in all the ways that you decide to give of your energy. It is reciprocated. Because there's an importance about being a part of this world right now. Because many of us in the world go around doing things that we don't want to do, and that has been told to us to be the norm. That your hard work never pays off, but you care and you love so much when you do it that you feel like it's the right thing to do. But those are commands that, if we look at it from the perspective in which we're understanding now, have just further confirmed who you truly are at your heart. At the same time, those commands have also taught you, after burnout, after seeing the challenges of the roles that we've played in our family dynamics, the mother, the father, the sister, the brother, the son, the daughter, the husband, the wife, and forward. That things need to change. Like, we always have those family dynamics where there's certain things that a family member does that you disagree with, and you feel like, I'm going to do different. Or you always hear parents say, I'm going to make sure that my child has everything I didn't have. Or, you just like your daddy. And then you grow up and saying, well, I'm not going to be like my daddy in that way. Or that father role or that mother role that you looked up to. All of it, at the end of the day, was enriching your unique spiritual consciousness. And now you're able to go into the world in whatever occupation that you're in and be compensated fairly. Because now you're at the place where you know what your value is. So from here on out, there's only fair exchanges. Because that's just what it is. That's just what it is. This is all based on your frequency and your vibration, your thoughts, what you hold in your consciousness as truth. Everybody is playing their roles at this point. Everybody's playing their roles. The key here, though, is that there is a universal wealth transfer. It is. It's through the law of worth. And for me, the law of worth has to do with who you are authentically. Only you can be you. And that's the key to the releasing of the fractal line commands, the ancestral inherited blocks being now liberated on a higher plane for your physical manifestation. That's what is happening. A lot of you are leaders, and you have what it takes from your essence, from your soul, from beyond this incarnation to guide others. And not even just to guide others, to be a leader. Because you understand what the people need. Your specific people. The people that you represent. There's a people that you represent. And you're able to support and advocate for those people in a way that also nourishes you. And that's the self-love part. That's the most important part. You have to fill your cup first. There are people out there that tell you that you're supposed to be brave and give and give and give. Maybe that's your story. I feel like the people that I'm connecting with, you know that's not your story. Because if you give and give and give, there's nothing left to give. The people that I'm talking to have had to learn how to love themselves. And it's not just about going to get a massage, going to get a facial, getting your nails and your toes done, going shopping, taking a bath, putting some flower petals in it, some shea butter, even though I like that kind of stuff. That's not self-love. That is not self-love. We talking about value here. Value. How you work in a job that pays you less than what you deserve. When you work for the divine. So you telling the divine that's what you're worth, and you're accepting it, and you're mad, and you're unhappy, and you're burnt out. But you continuously agreeing to it. You know one thing, I'm going to just get real with y'all. That I had to understand how I was blocking myself. And obviously, I forgive myself for these kind of things. And allow that energy to reincarnate so that I can now manifest it in its properly aligned way. Is that I stayed in places so long because I honestly felt that I did a good job at what I was doing, which was true. This is relationships, this is work, because if you build habits in one place, the habits exist in many other aspects of your life. I would stay in situations for longer than what was comfortable for me. Was dissatisfied with how I was being compensated, with how I was being treated, with how I was being loved, with how I was being valued. But I would create reasons in my mind for why it made sense. So, oh yeah, if I left this job, if I go for what I really want and I leave this job and I go specialize in this field, I have to go get a whole nother job. I have to go 2 years and specialize in that before. And it's like, but is that what you really want? So why not go for it? right? I did that from when I was a kid too. I lost faith and patience in the school system. I wanted to be a veterinarian at one point when I was a little girl. When they asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said veterinarian. And that was also influential upon me. I wanted to be a pediatrician and then a veterinarian. And then once I got to 11th grade and it was time to decide, I didn't want to be a veterinarian anymore because I saw 4 years of school as more burdensome. So I then decreased my standards on myself. And I feel like all of these things I'm sharing consciously with you because they were all learning lessons about how I was operating internally. I was telling myself that I was exhausted. I was telling myself that I was unhappy, I was depressed. I felt suppressed, repressed. That my dream was no longer something that I saw as attainable, not because I didn't want it, but because I was exhausted. I was exhausted. You know, as a young child. Because my creativity wasn't being sparked. I was just doing schoolwork. It was boring. The love for animals that I had always, it wasn't there strong enough to push me. So I say all of this to say that every single thought, that every single emotion was creating my reality for me. And I was slowly forgetting myself. Until my body reawakened me through a state of dis-ease. And if you're someone like me, you've seen this in your spaces too. You've seen people who have been challenged with their health, who have been challenged with their mentality about how they see life, and they feel like they can't do these things. But there's something specific about you, the person that I'm speaking with right now, that even though you had these same thoughts and emotions at some point in your experience, you were able to expand beyond it. So there's going to be opportunities here for investing in people in the ways that is unique to you, that's coming from the heart consciousness now, that is opening and available to the new opportunities, because now you're doing things now that no one in your family has ever done. This message is not focused on The future is focused on the fact that you are now walked through the door to new. And you're gonna really love what you do. And it's fulfilling. Your relationships are fulfilling. Your sex life is fulfilling. Your interactions are fulfilling. Your investments are in alignment. Because you're coming into these situations with a loving understanding of humanity, or whatever we want to be called at this point, because I don't even freaking know really what that word is about. Because at the end of the day, it's all based on frequency and vibration. And people continuously want to put us in these groups, majority, minority, etc. And I'm not even speaking about race. I'm speaking about the way people think. You, though, are in tune with the cosmos. You, though, are working in sync in your divine connection with your counterpart. You, though, are bringing forth life that is expressing the genes that you guys are creating or bringing together in a healthy way. You are a demonstration of sexual health because you two are aligned cosmically. So the sexual health, it goes beyond physical protection. It starts from alignment of understanding that the sexual energy brings forth the expression and the desires of the ancestors of the fractal line, its limitations and its gifts. And it's up to us to refine those things in this body, in this incarnation. And so by you going through your life and getting to this point where you are today, as you're listening to this message, and you know how important partnership is to you now, there's no thoughts in your mind at this point that is saying, I don't know if this woman or this man is right for me. You know. Your value. And your value is more than the money. The money is an expression that you desire to experience your value in the physical. For some, their value is expressed through beautiful connections. Just people complimenting them and receiving gifts. It's going to all express in alignment with your unique consciousness. And however you and your counterpart come together, there's going to be a balance that is created. The monies don't have to match. What's matching is the frequency and the vibration. And it's bringing in freshness. It's bringing in joy. Your babies are gestating in joy. Yeah, bliss. And it's undeniable. And it's powerfully happening now. Alright, so you guys, wave number 3. You guys are the activators. You guys are activating the law of worth, the universal wealth transfer. You guys are aligned recipients of it. This energy always gives me like musical families. So families that have musical abilities. I feel like when you look at a lot of musical families in the past, there's been a lot of heartbreak and sorrow in those families. Like, I don't really want to mention their names because I'm not trying to like involve them in the message. But great musical families where like everybody in the family had a talent. And this don't even have to be, y'all don't even have to be famous. Like, y'all don't even have to be famous. But those celebrities, they were on the world stage for us to see, you know. And so you guys are activators. So there's an energy here, right? Through your activation of the law of worth, which I said in the main message, which is so very important, that you guys have this energy here of being an aligned recipient of the universal wealth transfer, because you've activated the law of worth. So I feel like this is the part of the message where I was saying you specifically are the one in the family that is the change maker. You are the activator. Yeah, that song just came up. It's early. It's early, so my voice ain't on yet. Where it goes? Waymaker, miracle worker. That is who you are. I can't think of the words, all of the words. Waymaker, miracle worker, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Something like that. That's a gospel song, see? So like, even like some of y'all like that you come from Christian background, religiosity, and your family has had a lot of challenge, you know. It's basically, I feel like this message is helping you to see that is who you are. So like everything that you went through was a storm of purification, a process of realignment, because you guys were charged with the carrying of your ancestors' inheritance, and the charge to shift it, right? So this has a lot to do with family dynamics. For a long time, since I've been channeling And I've been aware of my channeling abilities. So this is significant as well, that some of you are also channelers. How important children are, because I feel like in society we look at children as, stay in a child's place. A lot of people say not everybody has that way of thinking. Not that rough, but a lot of people still have that way of thinking, no matter how they express it. If they express it in a gentler way, it's no judgment. My point of saying this is that a lot of people see children as babies, and yes, in the physical body they are developing, they are acclimating to this earth and their consciousness, understanding life and the growth of their physical body. At the same time, they have the wisdoms of their ancestors, of the fractal line, and they have their own purpose and mission for why they even incarnated to come and help out the family in the first place, right? And so when we still have a lot of chaos and disarray in our families, the children have a more, see, I'm stuttering. Maybe someone stutters, that may be significant. Something about speech, right? I said singing, vocalizing, communicating. The children have a more challenging time communicating. I don't really know if this has to do with the beautiful children that come into the world and they're nonverbal for a while. Because that has been in my consciousness too, where I just see like these children that's just full of joy, and they're labeled as something specific in this world, and they have these challenges, these communication challenges. So this is significant. It's coming out here. I'm channeling it. This all ties into what I'm saying of you being a change maker, because children come through with a job to do, and if they're unable to express that, they're unable to be the change makers. So they basically just get molded into what is in their environment, what is in their auric field, until it penetrates deep enough into their aura and becomes a physical thing for them. So this has a lot to do with that. Yes, it does. I'm just thinking about notes that I have in the past as well. So for you guys, this has a lot to do with, it could have things to do with the hands and the nervous system. Definitely the auric field, the thoughts, like I said, the mentality, the way that we think, the thoughts that affect the etheric body, the part of the body that is still gas, right, that is around the physical body. It has to do with our physical needs, thirsty, hungry, those direct kind of like desires and urges. A lot of these desires and urges have been around the aura, and I don't know if you have the opportunity to see it, or you just have had the opportunity to heal it or shift the energy, because this does have to do with healing. This does have to do with music. This does have to do with authenticity. This has also a knowing that there's no reason to be upset at anyone, because everyone played their role. A lot of people don't even know the energy that they've carried. going back to the ancestral energy, this is a lot of the desires of the ancestors trying to make their way through the physical body of the energy that is now living, and express itself, whether it be in alignment with the personal mission or not. So this is why the body is very important, and your ancestry in this case is very important to understand the patterns of your ancestry. The quality of your food. Are you eating foods that are alive, meaning somewhat still fresh from the ground if you have the opportunity to farm, or just buy from the supermarket things that are more whole versus in a box or processed. These support the electricity of the aura. Yeah, because I feel like these children may be waymakers. So, the energy now, you know what I mean? So I feel like some of you are still in progress of this energy, because the way that I'm saying it, I feel like I'm putting you on in some kind of way. Some of you may already know this, so forgive me if I'm telling you something you already know. But that's the point of my messages, is confirmations. But I feel like some people are being put on, because I don't really feel like this is widely understood energy. It's about understanding the past so that the soul can express, right? So this is about graduating to a new state of consciousness. The way that you see the world is different of what really matters, right? Being your authentic self, recognizing that your families played a role in the way that they did, because most people didn't even really understand that they were still carrying the energy of the ancestors, and they still were trying to move through the chakra system of the ancestors and be birthed out of that, so that they could be in their own personal energy, right? This has to do with gene expression too, because all of these messages tie together. But I feel like it's families recognizing the roles that everybody has played, and appreciating everyone, whether or not that you guys are still in love with each other or not, whether this be your ex, whether this be the mother of your child, whether this be the father of your child, your ex-husband, your ex-wife, your daughter, your son, your grandma, your grandpa. Oh, look at that, just said Grandma's Hand single by Jamie Foxx. That just came on there. So Grandma's is now available. That's Jamie Foxx. I guess he just remade that song by Bill Withers, so it come right on time. So I did mention, if I say minish, I don't know if that's a word, minish. I did mention channeling somewhere. So there's the energy of channeling too. So there's an energy of like you paying attention to your awareness. Okay. There's like an energy that I'm getting right now where there's a lot of channeling, right? So your mind may feel a little jumbled. Maybe you're saying words that don't make sense, like you didn't intend for that word to be there. So this is channeling energy. This is receiving messages and just being aware of, oh, that was something for me to become aware of. Okay, what does that word mean? Let me look it up and see if it makes sense to my experience. So some of you may be coming into your channeling abilities or finding that the children are having this experience. The food is very important as well. You could check out the other two waves of this message. If you know, obviously, I would say look at the About Me video so you can understand more about me and how I do these messages, because they're pick a card readings. So this is the third wave. The first two waves kind of intertwine into each other, but they're more focused energy when I do each one, because we're all in different parts of the journey. So I spoke about food. So food is a support here in cosmically aligning the energy that is being received. So for you guys, I feel like you're very much there's a lot of energy that's received, and so the energy needs to go out too. So I speak about me being a representative for the earth energy budget. As you experience this channeling energy, the energy needs to go out. So like I've started stuttering and I'm having these words coming into my mind, and there is a process of learning how to refine this energy so that we can get the energy more stabilized, and then we can move into newer energies. Food is very important here, and listening to the children as well if they're not able to speak things out clearly, and kind of listen to them a little bit deeper. And electric food that's alive. I'm not talking about a remedy of like, I'm not talking about nothing hocus pocus, like just real food, real person, real food. Food that if you had a garden you could go pick it, then you could do that. Food that you could put it together and make different foods. That's what the vibe is. And going out in nature, natural, listening to the earth sounds, and doing things that is natural and calming and can kind of help to center the energy. Moving the body, drinking water, grounding the energy, being barefoot in the earth. But I feel like there's an energy of needing to have a purpose here, because grounding to me means that yes, the child and the people who are adults, whatever your role is in the family, maybe this can be done as a family. Grounding is often just talking about, the electromagnetic energy from your body. When you stand barefoot, you're communicating with the earth, and that energy is then drawn into the earth's core, and then you are able to rebalance your energy by the energy that you pull back up and receive back up through your feet. That's the main way of grounding or earthing. The other way to me is actually having a purpose on earth. So it's a part of participating in life. And so the children need to be able to participate in life. They need something to do that makes them happy. The circadian rhythm, body clocks, learning about the body, how the body works. Music, we said that already. This is like a collective experience here. This is not just the children, but the children are a big factor of it, but it's also the adults as well. The dream space is significant as well. Yeah, that you guys are letting go of the victim stories. And that's how you're recognizing and activating the law of worth in your life, because again, the law of worth has to do with authenticity. Like the children, you could have identical twins, right? And this has been in my mind a lot recently, this idea of identical twins, right? They have the same mother and father at the same time, and they have the same physical appearance. Sometimes there may be something that looks a little bit different on their body than the other one. For the most part, their fingerprints are the same. They look exactly the same. They have different experiences though of their parents, and the way that they choose to live their lives often looks different than the other. They still make their own choices. They're still meant to. So this is this activation of the law of worth, where even if there's this closeness, there is individuation that is happening for the purpose of receiving this universal wealth transfer. Because only you can be you, so you can't be the other person too. And the other person that you experience in a way that may have challenged you in a way, whether it was extremely horrible to normal, is a part of your story and is worth something. But from a deeper perspective, for me, these storms in your life were storms of purification. Because these are the things that we're not taught, that these things need to be cleared out. You know, this could have just been a moment in time for you. This didn't have to be your whole entire life. You know, take it as it resonates, because I could be reading for a lot of people here. But all the nutrition that you receive through what you decide to ingest and what is in your environment is now moderating, meaning balancing, alchemizing in a way that is aligning now with your personal energy, your unique divine blueprint and purpose as a way maker, as a change maker. And so with these lessons and this knowing, now you're activating the law of worth and becoming available to the universal wealth transfer. As a reverent holder now, it's like knowing this, there's an energy now that you have, that you get to hold it with love and respect for knowing that is who you are. A holder of this creative life force energy of self and others, if you are the channel of life for another. And as a masculine, you're supporting this energy as the doula, moving it forward, and you're supporting the cosmic balance of everything, the energy of the masculine and the feminine as the whole. And so there's a lot of things that's happening on the dream state too. So I don't know if some of you are having, like, you know, nightmares, or your dream state is very active. This is all this process is. So as you continue to support yourself through what you ingest, in the desires and understanding if the desires are your own or not, really listening to things, understanding that the purpose of this all is to move into your North Node energy, for the soul and the essence of you, your family, to do something that is never done before, to bring forth that life that has the ability, right? How the ancestors always wanted us to have opportunities that they never had. You get to do that by this purification process that is happening in the astral level. There are situations where certain things are falling off in your life, whether it be the way that you see things, certain foods that you eat, certain relationships, whether it be platonic, romantic, either or, familiar. This is all for the purpose of bringing freshness into the world. So it's like you guys are the activators for the purpose of healthy gene expression, bringing forth life into the world that is fresh. Definitely take a look at the other consciousness and see if they resonate with you. There may be pieces and parts in there that may be supportive. But now you guys are able to no longer be those victims and be creators. You're not the perpetrator. This has like a lot to do with trauma bonding and things like that. How we bond with each other over the hardships that we've had in our lives. But now you get to shift that energy, because when you're bringing forth this freshness in the world, you're cultivating a life where you're free of that, where the children are free of that. Pouring into what truly matters. And that's you, that's your family, that's life. That's everything. So that's your message. See you next time, guys.